Good evening, music lovers, VC community. Just let me put down the camera there. Record collectors and everyone who might find themselves watching this video. It's been a while since my last one, but I would like to say thank you for all your positive comments and for subscribing to my channel. The video today will be about the Norwegian prog rock scene and psychedelia scene from about 1970 to 73. And I will flip through the records in a normal speed, I think, but try to make it quick in order to have enough space to upload on YouTube. But here goes. The first band I would like to show and recommend to you is the Norwegian band Aunt Mary. They debuted in 1970 with this wonderful blues rock pop psychedelia album. I really recommend you have a listen to this one. Their second album from 1972 was called Loaded, and it was much more heavy than its preceded. This is perhaps my favorite. Their third and last album from the original period was Janus, which was recorded and released in 1973. Perhaps the most prog rock oriented album they made. 3 strong albums, very good music. The next band I would like to recommend is what we are listening to now. Hole in the Wall, a band from the West Norway town Bergen. They made one album in 1972 and then disbanded. This is folk rock at its best. Norwegian folk rock sounding almost more American than American folk rock. A very accomplished album. The guitarist went to the United States and they regrouped in 1978 and made a terrible album, so stay clear of that one. This is the one to get, Hole in the Wall. Then we of course have Junipher Greene. They made 3 albums, which I have 2 of their 3 albums. The last one is terrible, but this Friendship, the debut album from 1971, is magnificent. It's a double album made up of wonderful psychedelic prog. Their second album from 1973, which isn't that good communication, but it's very good, but not as good as Friendship. The band themselves hate this record, so you have to get an original if you want this one. I would recommend you to have a listen to those records on the internet first. If you find yourself liking some of the music I present and can't find the original albums or the repressings, you might find these compilations, which are made up of the most important songs, the best songs from the most important bands of the era. They are called Popol Vuh, and this is volume 1, volume 2 and volume 3. That's a nice place to start if you're interested in Norwegian prog rock scene, and they are not too expensive. What do we have here? Well, the next band you should listen to is Popol Vuh, not the German Popol Vuh, but the Norwegian Popol Vuh. They later changed their name to Popol Ace. Their debut album is by far, in my ears, the best one to get, from 1972. Reissued about 2-3 years ago, and quite affordable. This is an original, very nice album. And of course we have Terje Rypdal, a very famous jazz guitarist. He first started his career in a Shadows band called the Vanguards, moved to a psychedelic band called The Dream, and then went on his own with a solo album called Bleak House. Blues, jazz, psychedelia. is the best way to describe this. One of Norway's best albums in my ears, in my opinion. Then we of course have Titanic, which made some success outside of Norway, in France and perhaps UK, with a couple of hit singles. Quite straightforward rock, heavy rock, but with prog elements. And the originals are quite cheap and easy to get. Last but not least, I would like to present Undertakers Circus with their first album called Ragnarok, or Armageddon in English. Quite political lyrically. Unfortunately, perhaps, they sang in Norwegian. I would say fortunately, because their lyrics and political views are quite out of date now. But the music is very enjoyable. So I recommend you get the repress from this year. I sold my original copy for $500. So this repressing is well worth its normal price. Well, that's about it for the Norwegian prog rock scene from the 70s, although there are many other bands as well, but these are my favorites. Please subscribe, please do leave me a comment on this video. My next video will probably be about the Swedish music scene from the 60s and 70s. Bye for now.